Duff Roman. I'm the Executive Vice President of eRadio Incorporated. We are a communication solutions company. We use FM radio as our network backbone. In the U.S., we use mostly national public radio stations. In Canada, we use Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. What that means is that for our system, the network is already in place, so there's no capital expenditure to build towers or to create needs for spectrum with the FCC. Those things are already in place. What we do is we take time of use information from the utility, from the electrical utility, and we deliver it to what we call enabled smart appliances. We're the only company that solved the direct to appliances. That's why our module is called P2D, prices to devices. And what that means is a device such as an electric hot water tank can be turned off for periods of the day. What that means is that it can reduce the stress and load on the utility system, on the electrical system. There's a built-in safety factor that allows the tank to be turned off for 4 or 5 hours. And picture, if you will, millions of tanks being turned off for 4 or 5 hours and then tweaked to turn on again so that the temperature is maintained and you can have a shower, you can do your dishes. But the amount of kilowatt power that will save makes this truly a green technology. So if you're a consumer, you'll either buy the hot water tank through a Lowe's or a big box store like that, or the utility might provide a rental or lease unit.
Are you looking to work with any companies in particular with your technology, or is it agnostic?
Well, it's agnostic, but essentially, as a startup company, we're looking for partners, and partners can bring either their product to the party or they can bring investment. In this case, we're working with the world's largest hot water tank manufacturer, A.O. Smith, whose product is on display. But we are doing pilots with the largest electrical producer in the U.S., Duke Energy, and on the West Coast with Portland General Electric, Bonneville Power in the Midwest, and others. So for us, it's, I wouldn't use the word agnostic, but it's a large tent. We're not keeping anyone out of that, but our technology is patented. The special thing about our technology is it's the only one that's scalable. Whether one person is using our technology or 3 million in a medium-sized city or 17 million in New York, for instance, there's no drawdown of power. It cannot be brought down like the internet. It's simply the way you'd use an FM radio. If you can hear it, then you're connected. So when you plug in our device, we call it plug and play. You don't have to do any configuring the way a Wi-Fi system might need a password. You might have some difficulties in configuring the system. Ours immediately starts to light, and it hunts for the empowered station. The station that's enabled by eRadio will be sending out a signal in the RDS portion of its FM band. The device, when turned on, is like a radio receiver. It hunts for that signal. When it finds a signal, it then can go into operation. Automatically, it can make a determination on the information that it's being fed, data that we take from the utility company that gives the exact price of electricity at that moment. So for instance, an electric vehicle, if you plugged into our system, that car would automatically be charged when the cost of electricity is cheapest. And you wouldn't have to worry about setting a timer or a clock or a device. It would just be done automatically. Similarly with the hot water heater, I think a simple way of explaining it is that for the average person, this device allows them to use electricity when it's cheapest and avoid using electricity when it's most expensive.
I think you already answered my question about how your product and the Internet of Things is going to change lives, but if you'd like to elaborate a little more on the subject, that'd be great.
Well, I certainly would, because again, it's all about scalability and accessibility. People talk about the Internet of Things, but that implies either an internal Wi-Fi system at home or some way of contact the information that's being fed to the enabled device. For us, the receiver is in the appliance. It does not have to be wired to anything. It simply has to be plugged in. Examples of where the Internet of Things might be useful would be any electrical appliance that has an alphanumeric screen. It could be your microwave oven. That screen could say there's a tornado on the way. Take shelter. It could turn the microwave on and off for whatever reason. Another device that's similar to the hot water tank is the freezer section of your refrigerator. That too can be turned off for 4 or 5 hours without food spoilage. Now imagine you're in California, you're having a brownout approaching. You can't get people to cooperate. In this sense, they wouldn't even know that their freezer section's been turned off until the danger had passed or until it needed to be turned on again so that there wouldn't be any food spoilage. So any electrical device that's got a alphanumeric screen on it would be eligible for the Internet of Things. In the automobile, for instance, with recent recalls at Toyota and General Motors, any car could be reached regardless of who owns it. So reaching those drivers wouldn't require an email or it wouldn't require tracking down the owner. The VIN number of that car is permanent. So even if a car went through 3 owners, like one of the recalls went back 11 years, it would simply light up on the car radio and would say, you know, Madam Curie, please bring your Toyota in. There's a recall on this part. So it's an amazing number of applications for our kind of technology. So these are a few manifestations of empowering things so that they're part of an internet, although essentially we're wireless and we are based on FM broadcasting.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.